Hello and welcome back to Something Z, and welcome to What If Naruto at the Five Tales Part 5. Last time on the What If, Team 7 just began the Fourth of Death part of the tuning exams, so let's jump back into the What If. After half an hour after Team 7 started the exams, Naruto had to use the bathroom, and he split up from the group. And when Naruto came out of the trees, Sasuke was able to tell that wasn't Naruto, and he threw a kunai at the Naruto. Then when the Naruto hit the ground, a poof of smoke came from the Naruto, showing the shinobi's true form, and it was a hidden range shinobi that wore a mask that covered its whole face. And the shinobi had to fight Sasuke and a Sakura who was at least a bit stronger. And during the fight, the real Naruto came from the tree with his chakra boiled to the point of first gate, and he was able to punch the enemy shinobi. And after the shinobi was able to get back up, he used a jutsu and swam into the ground. And Team 7 were not able to find him. After the attack, they decided to come up with a way to identify themselves. They only say to each other to use their specialty. And after a couple minutes, a gust of wind appears out of nowhere and separates Naruto from the other two, and he tries to find them, but before he can orient himself, he finds himself in the mouth of a snake, and instantly he turns back on boil release, trying to burn the snake into spitting him out. But when it took too long and he was going farther into the snake, he used multi-shadow clone jutsu and created enough to burn straight through the snake, and he spends a bit of time to gain some chakra. Then he runs to find Sasuke and Sakura. So we jump back to Sasuke and Sakura after they are able to find each other, and after a bit they see Naruto come out of a tree, and they ask for his specialty, and Naruto in response creates some steam behind himself, in which Sasuke throws a kunai after Naruto, knowing that it isn't Naruto. So Naruto dodges the kunai, then turns into a puff of smoke, revealing Orochimaru in disguise. Orochimaru then holds out a scroll that they needed and says that the loser of this fight will die. Then he swallows the scroll whole. Then he shows Sasuke and Sakura visions of their death-like kunai, making them both paralyzed in fear. Orochimaru then threw a kunai at their heads that would have killed them, and the only way Sasuke was finally able to move again was to stab himself with a kunai and focus on the pain. After he was able to move, he dodged the kunai and pushed Sakura out of the way. Then he grabs her and tries to run away, but they weren't able to get too far from Orochimaru, and eventually Sasuke gives up, and while he tells that he will give their scroll to Orochimaru, they hear someone shout from above them, and when they look to see who it was Naruto. They see Naruto with smoke coming from behind him, and Naruto, seeing Sasuke holding their team scroll, punches Sasuke in the face as lightly as possible since he's still in first gate. And he holds Sasuke by his collar, and he then yells at Sasuke, telling him that he would not accept defeat by just giving up. Then Naruto jumps at Orochimaru. After a couple of minutes of Naruto just being swatted away by the snake, and after every attempt he got more injured, he then grabs some chakra from Kokuo, and he created a cloak of chakra which healed his wounds. The second the chakra hit them, being stronger than he was before, he jumps back at the snake as fast as he can, and with a couple of punches he was able to hit the snake through a couple of branches, with the snake being now eye to eye with Sasuke. It then tries to lunge at Sasuke, and before Sasuke gets hit, Naruto lands in front of Sasuke, and he punches the snake in the snout, and it was powerful enough to stop the snake. Orochimaru, seeing that Naruto had a tail-piece cloak, can tell he was the Five-Tailed Jinchuriki, and his now main focus was to put a seal on Naruto, making it so he couldn't get help from the Five-Tails. And Orochimaru, after a bit of time, was able to read Naruto's movements. Since he was so fast, he never really focused on having unreadable movements. And Orochimaru was able to hold Naruto with the snake's tongue in a way that Naruto couldn't move. He then put another seal on Naruto's seal, turning off the tailed beef cloak, and the steam from Naruto started to stop, and Naruto himself got knocked unconscious and started to fall. But before he hit the ground, Sakura was able to throw a kunai and hit Naruto's jumpsuit, sticking him to a tree. Sakura then yells at Sasuke, telling him to do something, because at least Naruto fought and saved him. She then jumps at Orochimaru and tries to fight him, but she wasn't able to hit him because Orochimaru was able to dodge every slash from the kunai. While Sasuke was watching Sakura fighting, he was able to get enough determination to prepare to fight. After he was prepared, he jumped into the fight with Orochimaru and Sakura. They fought with Sasuke and Sakura able to hit Orochimaru multiple times. In what seems like the end of the fight, Sasuke launches a fireball jutsu that seemed to melt the enemy's face off. But under the melted shinobi's face was another face, revealing it to be Orochimaru. And before they could react, he extends his neck and bites Sasuke on the neck, and leaves behind the curse mark. He then wishes Sasuke luck, and Orochimaru leaves the two getting. After Orochimaru was gone, Sasuke passed out from gaining the curse mark, leaving Sakura to get her two teammates. She then hides them under a tree and heals their wounds to the best of her ability. After some time, Team Dosu was able to find them, and they challenged Sasuke to a fight. But since Sasuke was knocked out, Sakura was prepared to fight the three shinobi. And when the team destroyed Sakura's traps that she laid to keep any enemies away, Rock Lee comes out of nowhere and he promises to save Sakura. So he and Team Dosu get into a fight. And during the fight, Lee decided to use the front lotus. But after he landed the attack, he was unable to move, and he got incapacitated by Team Dosu. After Lee got incapacitated, Sakura finally got out of kunai and charged at Team Dosu. But Kin from Team Dosu, after some kunai clashing, grabbed onto Sakura's hair, and Sakura, in order to free herself, cuts off the hair Kin was holding, and she attacked Saku, who was standing right in front of her. And they fought until Sakura was able to pin him onto the ground, but it backfired, and Sakura got her whole head grabbed and pounded onto the ground until she started to bleed. And that's when Team 10 jumped into the fight, and both teams fought until Sasuke wakes up, and the curse mark that Orochimaru just gave him is covering his body, and he attacks Saku and dislocated his arms. And before Sasuke could get to Dosu, Sakura pleaded for Sasuke to stop, and Uchi listens and he turns off the curse mark. And when Dosu sees Sasuke's curse mark turn off, he grabs his two teammates and he runs into the forest. So we skip to the next day, and Team 7 is healed up a bit more, and they look for enemy shinobi all day that had a different scroll from them, until it was nighttime and they tried to go back to their base. But for some reason it seemed like they were going into a circle, even though they were going straight towards their base. And when they realized this, they were attacked by a huge amount of clones of the shinobi that attacked them at the beginning of the exams. When they tried to fight the clones, they realized they weren't physical, and that they were just a genjutsu as well. And they decided that they needed to bring out the original, so Naruto launched a fire jutsu onto the ground. When smoke filled the area, Naruto made 3 clones, and 2 of them transformed into Sasuke and Sakura, and the original found a place to hide, while the clones fight the enemy shinobi's clones. The clones fought until the 3 looked tired, and then the original team Oboro came out to attack the clones. But after they came out of their hiding spot, Naruto dispelled the clones, and Team 7 ran out of their hiding spot, with Sasuke and Sakura holding out a kunai, and Naruto boiling his chakra to the point of half a gate, and they were able to take out the 3 hidden range shinobi. And right after they got the enemy team's scroll, they decided to go back to their base, and then go straight to the mill tower, just so they can regain some chakra. So we skip to when they are at the tower, and when they get there, they are told to go into the next room and open their scrolls at the same time. And when they do, a puff of smoke appears out of the 2 scrolls. And when the smoke dissipates, Iruka-sensei congratulates them for making it so far, and he then tells them to go to the next room. And when they do, they see Team 10, 8, Guy, Kabuto, Dosu, and 2 of the 3 Sand shinobi asleep. And the one that's awake is the one with red hair and black circles around his eyes. And that's where I'm going to leave the what if. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time on Something Z.